Welcome back. Here's a list of 6 serial killers in North Carolina that you may not have heard about. Here's number 1. Greensboro, North Carolina. In 2022, John Mark Richardson was arrested for the murder of 3 men in a span of 3 months, but police think there may be more. The FBI defines a serial killer as someone who kills 2 or more people in separate events. Even his family said he was a serial killer. The victims were shot and or beaten. And number 2, also in Greensboro, Robert Sylvester Austin raped and murdered at least 4 women from 1991 to 1993. They were beaten and strangled. He then dismembered and buried their bodies in various locations. His victims were either prostitutes or drug addicts. He is also the prime suspect in 2 other murders which remain unsolved. Number 3. Charlotte. In 2021, Daniel Glenn Prince was sentenced to life for the kidnapping and murder of Edna Suttles in South Carolina. In 1997, he was sentenced to 30 years in Michigan for kidnapping, but was released on parole in 2009. He is linked to 2 other murders and may have committed as many as 5 in the North Carolina, South Carolina area. Number 4. Charlotte. Henry Louis Wallace, known as the Taco Bell Strangler, killed 11 black women from 1990 to 1994. In high school, he was on the student council and was also a cheerleader. He was also a disc jockey and served honorably in the Navy. However, during his service, he started using drugs including crack cocaine. He knew some of his victims or lived nearby. He even killed a co-worker at the Taco Bell where he was a supervisor. He usually raped, beat, and strangled his victims. He even attended a funeral for one of his victims. He is currently on death row. Number 5. Concord. Blanche Taylor Moore is currently awaiting execution for her boyfriend's murder by arsenic poisoning in 1986. She is also suspected in the death of her father, mother-in-law, and her first husband, and the attempted murder of her second husband. She was convicted and sentenced to death in 1990. Here's number 6. The Edgecombe County serial killer is an unidentified serial killer in and around the Rocky Mount area. From 2005 through 2009, he was suspected of the murders of at least 11 women. He was also called 7 Bridges Killer because that's where he dumped some of his bodies. DNA was found on one victim and was traced to Antoine Pittman, a convicted felon, who is now serving a life sentence for her murder. He was also acquainted with some of the victims. They were usually stabbed, beaten, and strangled.